And it has been a busy edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch here on WCPT 820 AM Heartland Signal, WSBC 1240 AM Chicago, and on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. Make sure you guys subscribe to us there. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. And to start the show, we talked about a major deal between the NFL Network, and ESPN. And that has not been the last of huge deals with ESPN. This comes to us from Yahoo Sports via the Independent's Isabel Keene. WWE heads to ESPN. Sports Network lands $1.6 billion deal for streaming major events. Disney's ESPN will soon become exclusive streaming platform to watch all of World Wrestling Entertainment's biggest events. The reported billion-dollar deal announced Wednesday will give the Walt Disney Company subsidiary ESPN exclusive U.S. streaming rights for all of WWE's major two-night events, including WrestleMania and SummerSlam beginning in 2026, the company said. WWE's major live events, including Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and Money in the Bank, will also be featured on the network. The wrestling events are set to be part of ESPN's new streaming service, which is set to launch later this month. The 5-year deal is valued at over $1.6 billion, according to the Wall Street Journal. It's a major bump up from WWE's current 5-year deal with Peacock, set to end this year, which was valued at $900 million, according to the report. Quote, WWE has an immense, devoted, and passionate fan base that we're excited to super serve on our new ESPN DTC platform, direct-to-consumer platform, ESPN chairman Jimmy Pitaro said. This agreement, which features the most significant WWE events of the year, bolsters our unprecedented content portfolio and helps drive our streaming future. The deal also means that all of WWE's pre- and post-event shows for all premium live events will be available to be streamed on ESPN. We are proud to reinforce the E in ESPN at such an exciting juncture in its direct-to-consumer journey, Mark Shapiro, president and chief operating officer of TKO, which owns WWE, said in a statement. He continued, WWE premium live events are renowned for exactly the type of rich storytelling, incredible feats of athleticism, and can't-miss cultural tentpole experiences that have been synonymous with ESPN. Through our UFC relationship, we experienced firsthand how transformational an ESPN presence can be. And we know this will be an exceptional partnership at a time of great innovation for both companies. And just a quick addition to this. The popular wrestling promotion also struck a deal with Netflix last year for its weekly show Raw, which is valued at over $5 billion and became a solid performer for the streamer. They also got that deal with the CW for WWE NXT, which was for like $500 million for a few years. And the big deal they got with USA, which is owned by Comcast, Xfinity, which is NBC, essentially, NBC Universal. So check out the entire article because there's some things I want to dig into. The entire article over at Yahoo Sports, brought to you by the Independent. WWE heads to ESPN. Sports Network lands $1.6 billion deal for streaming major events. And a few things. One, this isn't too surprising in the aspect that ESPN and WWE have been very friendly over the years, especially recently, and bringing in the migration of Pat McAfee being the center of that Venn diagram. It's not surprising to me that ESPN has gone that way. And one of the other things I'm really interested in is we know the UFC is going to be working on new deals as well. We're seeing that Canelo and Crawford is going to be on Netflix. We've seen that all these fights are ending up on ABC, and there's just a lot of moving parts. But more specifically, the UFC needs to find a new TV deal. And it being part of Endeavor, TKO, the same family that WWE is, does this open up the door for ESPN and the UFC to also sign a new deal? Now, I don't know about each and every one of you that's listening to us here on the Sports Cubicle, Sports on the Couch over the years. I think ESPN Plus sucks. I don't think ESPN has ever had a great direct-to-consumer product. I think they have great product. I think Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Baseball, throughout the NBA season, the NBA Finals, so on and so forth. I think they have a great product. The NBA draft, the NFL draft. But for you to consume it compared to Netflix or even Amazon, some of these other streaming platforms, they need a lot of catching up to do when they make this new just ESPN platform. Then you are looking at where they're leaving. I think Peacock was a bad platform. I don't know what they're going to do without this product, without having WrestleMania 2 nights, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Money in the Bank, so on and so forth. Now, the one thing is, what is the price point going to be? Because if you have a subscription to Peacock right now, whatever level tier you have, you can watch WWE. It's part of your package, depending on which bracket you're in, right? You might get ads, you might be able to watch it without ads, so on and so forth. But if it's behind a paywall, so let's say you have to pay the $30 for this ESPN all-encompassing app that we talked about earlier is not going to have Red Zone on some form of it, NFL Network product and media assets. How much are you going to have to pay now to get Red Zone? And in this specific story, a pay-per-view. I'm paying $30 a month for the app. Now do I have to pay another $30, $40, $50, $60? You were paying for ESPN Plus and then full price for a UFC pay-per-view. Now, I don't know if you know this about wrestling fans, but wrestling fans are a little bit tighter on the pockets. And this is coming from a fan base that is being rung through the ringer right now, and they're squeezing every bit of blood out of this stone with some of these ticket prices and merch prices. But how are you going to go from offering people products like in the UK when people are using VPNs here in the United States, a Netflix subscription, and then what you were doing right here with a Peacock subscription, which was affordable, to now I'm going to have to pay to have this app and pay for the pay-per-view? This is something that is not just going to affect World Wrestling Entertainment. This could affect the entire sports and entertainment world, because it's only a matter of time until there's a paywall for the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the World Series. Because all these companies are spending so much money, they need to get the ROI back. The return of investment needs to be worth it. I think this is just we're just scratching the surface of this story. $1.6 billion is a lot of money. Do not think that you as consumer, you as a WWE fan, are going to see a decently priced product for you, that it's going to be affordable. It has been an interesting week when it comes to what ESPN is doing. But I don't think it should be any surprise that the Disney company is trying to get as much as they can in their portfolio to try to sell this app. We saw them do it with Disney Plus. We've seen the failure of ESPN Plus. This is their chance with two huge fan bases, two huge products, one that never has an offseason and one season that is bigger than anything else combined in WWE and in the NFL. The question is, how much are you going to have to pay to watch that product? We got a whole lot left on this edition of the Sports Cubicle and Sports from the Couch here on WCPT 820 AM, HeartlandSignal.com, WSBC 1240 AM, Chicago, and on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. I'm your host, Mike Mercado.